Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's DLloyd. So we found out this morning from Shams Charania that everybody, yes, everybody except for Steph Curry could be traded from the Golden State Warriors. That means they have nobody they are holding on to. The only untouchable is Stephen Curry. Everybody is such a big number, right? In terms of like your rosters, only one player that you're willing to keep, which is crazy. But let's actually dissect it a little bit and figure out who could realistically go and why will the Warriors even think this way? Because Golden State has been struggling the past few games. Really, they've been struggling the majority of the season, and players have not played like we are accustomed to seeing them play. Stephen Curry is still trying his hardest out there, man. Draymond Green situation, of course, we have known how his season has gone, and Draymond Green is a guy who, although he's not on the list of untradeable players, he's somebody that's probably untradeable. I don't see a ton of guys. Remember, Draymond Green just signed the 4-year, $100 million extension, still making $25 million a year. I don't see a ton of players, especially after what has transpired this season, going after Draymond Green. So essentially, he's not going to be traded. I don't expect him to be moved. So yeah, Stephen Curry, you have Draymond Green, two big names that are not going to go anywhere. So now we shift to the other cornerstone player of the franchise, Klay Thompson. Now we know Klay Thompson doesn't have a contract after this year. Klay Thompson is eligible to just walk and go somewhere else. And we know that they are stagnant right now when it comes to a contract extension. We just reported it in December saying that there is pretty much no ground being made up when it comes to them getting closer to coming up with a deal. That does not mean that they cannot re-sign him, but it is looking likely that Klay Thompson may not be in Golden State after this year. That is a real possibility. So when you think about that possibility, you see what is transpiring this season. I know Steve Kerr and a lot of Warrior fans would like for the roster to, at least the main three players to stay and give it one last go. But you could see a scenario that he could be traded. Now, I don't expect that to happen. I do think they keep Klay Thompson, and I actually think they'll re-sign Klay Thompson once Klay Thompson doesn't have as big of a market in the offseason. So I do think he will stay, but you do have to remember he could potentially leave for nothing, which means why not, kick the tires a little bit. Let's see what type of market is out there if you were to decide to trade Klay Thompson. He has also been underperforming. That has not helped at all in his trade negotiations. Hopefully, he has some games where he has looked a little bit better, but for the most part, it's still not the Klay Thompson that we know consistently day in and day out. And that's going to have to change if he's going to want that lucrative contract extension. But now we get to some realistic pieces, realistic guys who could be moved. And the first one is Andrew Wiggins. Of course, Andrew Wiggins has not played good. In my opinion, he hasn't showed a lot of heart. I know that is a crazy accusation. I just don't see it when I'm watching him play. I could be wrong. It's just me from the outside. It just doesn't look like he's 100% bought in right now. I do know he won, a championship with Golden State, so I guess he does deserve the benefit of the doubt. But man, it has not looked good in my opinion for Andrew Wiggins. I think that is a very real player that could be moved, or a real possibility that he could be moved. This is really the first realistic guy that we're going to talk about today as guys who could be moved. And I think there are plenty of landing spots. We're hearing Cleveland could potentially be interested in an Andrew Wiggins. I think a lot of teams are going to have some type of interest in him. He's still a young player. We know the talent is there, and maybe their thinking is if he's not the fourth option and he could come to our team and be number 2, number 3, that he could be a little bit more productive and we could get more out of him than Golden State is currently getting out of him. I do think teams are going to have that mindset, and they will think that way, which means they will give up some type of value for a player like Andrew Wiggins. I'm sorry, I just went blank for a second. Andrew Wiggins. Another guy is Jonathan Kuminga. Now, what's going to happen with Kuminga? He has come out and said, essentially, he has lost faith in Steve Kerr and doesn't think Steve Kerr can help him become the player that he thinks he could be. That's another guy that's in that weird situation with Golden State, because he probably has the most trade value between him and Andrew Wiggins, a younger guy, just the 7th overall pick a few years back. He has shown promise. He has shown potential to be a very good player in the league. He does not feel like he is getting the opportunities, and quite frank, I don't think he's getting the opportunities. You have heard teams like Toronto who could potentially want to go after a Kuminga. I don't know if that's going to be moving to Siakam forward. That's who I would assume. And I think that is not really a fair swap right there. But I do think teams are going to be interested in Jonathan Kuminga if that is who they decide to ship off. Really, the way this team is built right now, I don't think they compete for a championship, that is. Of course, I think they could probably sneak into the playoffs. I do not think this is a championship team. And for Golden State, they're not just trying to get into the playoffs. They are trying to compete for a championship. And maybe they could figure things out. But the way Draymond Green is assaulting people, and the way Klay Thompson is playing, and what you're, lacking in terms of players coming off the bench. Of course, we're not even going to mention Chris Paul, because I don't really think he has any type of trade value. I think they are going to need to make a move at the deadline. Just rejuvenate that roster just a little bit. Just give it a fresh look, a fresh couple of players, and maybe that new vibe can help motivate everybody to go, because it looks like it's a clear separation of the team. You look like you have your veteran guys and your young guys, and they're really not coming together and playing cohesive basketball. So we will see a lot of flack also on Steve Kerr as the head coach. People are saying that he is not developing his own players, because remember, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, those aren't really his guys per se. So a lot of pressure going towards Golden State. How are they going to respond? Right now, they are not responding on the court very well at all. And now we're hearing that pretty much everybody could go except for Steph Curry. Man, they're going to have to figure something out. They're going to have to figure something out before the trade deadline. And I think they will. And I think they will make a move. And we'll see what happens from there. But what do you guys think? Let me know what you guys feel about this in the comment section below. Would you like to see Golden State trade some players away before the deadline? Who do you think they should try to target as potential trade candidates, or should they stand pat with what they have and hope things turn around and they can compete for a championship potentially in that Western Conference? Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. As usual, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please do me a favor, go ahead and leave this video a like. It helps me out a lot, and subscribe if you haven't already. It's DLloyd. I'm see y'all next time. Peace.